Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. In today's video I've got two stories for you and both of them have updates. And also, if you enjoy my content and still haven't wanted to subscribe, come on, you know you want to, just click that button, it's not that hard. Now let's get started with today's first story. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Little Lady Birds News. I, 21 female, had an affair with a married man, 35 male. The wife, 30s female, found out and is now harassing me. I'm honestly scared right now. Hi everyone, I need to make a throwaway account because I'm sure I'd get a lot of hate from this, but I could really use some advice right now. I met Chris 2 years ago in a coffee shop where I'm still working. He was a regular even before I started working there. I don't know why, but he really caught my attention. So I started making small talk whenever I served him his food and coffee, and he would respond. Weeks flew by and he finally asked for my number. We texted each other every day and every night, and we'd also talk during his visits to the coffee shop. Eventually, I fell in love with him and I was over the moon when he told me that he felt the same way. But there was a problem. He was engaged. Now, instead of doing the right thing, I still pursued a relationship with him. Chris's wife eventually found out. She sent me threats saying that I should stay away from her husband if I still wanted to live. And I did. I know it was too late and I was so stupid that I had let it come to this point. But this was like my wake-up call. So I broke up with Chris and blocked him. We never talked again and he stopped going to the shop. Last month though, Chris's wife paid me a visit at the shop, but she didn't talk to me. She just sat there, occasionally throwing glances at me while sipping her tea. I was so scared that she might make a scene, but after about an hour, she left without a word. But the following week, after my shift at work, I discovered my bike was wrecked to smithereens. We don't have CCTV at the back of the shop where my bike was parked, so I don't know who did this. I don't want to point fingers, but I think it's the wife. Last week, the wife went back to the coffee shop. I didn't know she was there until I served her tea. She then accidentally poured the hot tea on my hand. She acted like she was sorry, left her payment on the table, and straight up left me there with my swollen hand. I'm not sure if I should go to the police because I'm also ashamed to tell anyone that I'd been a mistress. I'm so scared that this was just my karma for having an affair with a married man and that no one would take me seriously. I know I deserve this, but I am honestly scared. It's obvious that I should quit my job to avoid making a scene when the wife goes back to the shop, just in case it comes to that. But I really need the money now, and it's not that easy to find a job. I feel so trapped. What should I do? Well, it'll be first the obvious. Don't ever again do that. And no, I'm not talking about parking your bike in a place where there's no CCTV. I'm talking about don't ever again become a mistress. Don't get involved with a married man if you know they're married. Having said that, try to get some proof to go to the police. So, okay, the cat's out of the bag when you tell them, oh, you were a mistress, but still, what she's doing is not right. Of course, what you did wasn't either, but she's not in the right to do that to you. It's her husband's fault and yours. But she should take this up with her husband, maybe get a divorce. I don't know, that's up to them. However, you need to get yourself some proof. Is there CCTV inside the coffee shop where you can see her spilling the tea on you? And also, if she comes around again, try to gather more information before you go and file a restraining order. Finally, yes, it is embarrassing that you'll have to admit to your boss that you got involved with one of the customers who is married, but your boss should know that there's a potential mess going to happen inside their store. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? I would ask what would you do if you were in her shoes, but I kind of think you guys wouldn't have an affair with a married man on purpose. Maybe that's my judgy side coming out. Whatever. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Earl Grey every day, I'm more of an English breakfast kind of guy, says she is taking out all the anger she has for her husband on you because you are an easier target. If this escalated, you need to talk to your manager and get her banned from the shop. If you have witnesses and documentations of these events, you may be able to get a restraining order. But seriously, don't sleep with married men. And OP responds, I don't know how to approach my manager about this. Sad face. She's a nice lady, but I'm not sure if she'll still be nice once she found out why this is happening to me. And yeah, I will never do that again. I was young and stupid, but now I have learned my lesson. Other kind of mermaid says, call the police and file a report. See if you can get a restraining order. Yes, what you did was wrong, but he was the one who cheated, not you. You were also 18 or 19 while he was in his 30s. This woman is fixated on you as the source of her problems when really it's her scumbag husband chasing after teenagers. Heather L. and some numbers says, document everything, dates, times, details of what happened. If she keeps up, go to the police and file a report for harassment. They won't judge you for it. And once she knows you won't allow this to continue, she will probably back off. And OP responds, thankfully, I didn't delete her threats to me. There you go. I don't know if that would be enough though, because I don't have any evidence of her wrecking my bike, and she was wearing a disguise when she burnt my hand. Oh man, now I'm picturing that woman with a trench coat, a fedora, and a mustache. Anilup says, wow, you really reap what you sow, don't you? You helped destroy a marriage and now you're dealing with the unfortunate consequences of your actions. This is not a normal reaction in the wife's part, but in life, you can't always count on normal reactions where the spouse just gets pissed and doesn't do anything to the affair partner. Instead, you got the super crazy version and now you're dealing with the consequences of your actions. The biggest issue you have is that you don't really have any evidence of her harassment. Her coming into your shop and your bike getting destroyed is actually just sort of circumstantial because you don't have any proof of her doing it, so the police can't do anything on that. The spilling of the hot tea on your hand could be construed as an attack, or it can also be construed as an honest mistake. The police will probably likely assume that it was a mistake. I would go to the cops and make the report even if they can't do anything. If she comes again, let her know that you've been speaking to the police and then she needs to stop and that the affair is no longer going on, so she needs to leave you alone, although I highly doubt that that's going to work. You made a gamble having an affair with this guy, and unfortunately for you, it turns out that you got the crazy card and now you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions as best you can. Additional information from OP's comments. After reading the comments here, I am now polishing my CV so I can apply for a new job. I also have talked to my manager about this, but took your advice not to go into specifics. She didn't ask any questions and said that it's no problem banning her if she's harassing me. My manager is the best and I would really hate to leave this job, but I know I have to for my own safety if the situation escalates further. As for going to the police, I'm still in the process of documenting everything and working on my anxiety to go there. To be honest, I was not expecting that they'd do something about this, but it seems that this is the right thing to do. It is quite hard because I have no one I could go there with to support me, but I guess I just have to do it alone for my own sake since I was the one who got myself into this mess. I have to take responsibility. Finally, just to clarify, I broke up with him 10 months ago. They got married 2 months ago. So yeah, I called it off while they were still engaged. Thank you everyone for the advice, but most especially for your understanding. I know what I did was unforgivable and terrible, but I am working on becoming a better person now by trying to get rid of my insecurities and knowing my worth. Again, thank you guys. Alright, well, the community gave OP a talking to and they also gave her some advice, and OP took it all in and is trying to do the right thing now. Now, I don't usually read the updates before recording the comments, but I couldn't help myself and I gotta tell you guys, there's a twist coming up in the updates. So let's move on with that, but before that, if you're enjoying this video so far, go ahead and click that like button, it helps out. Now let's move on to that update. My original post didn't get much attention, but I owe this update to the people who didn't judge me for the stupid thing I did and instead gave me really good advice. Just thank you all so much. So, after reading the comments, I decided to tell my manager to ban the wife from our shop. I didn't get into specifics and she didn't ask. I just told her that she was harassing me. But we also checked the CCTV to see if the scalding scenario was there, and thankfully it was clearly recorded. If you even look at it closely, it was really obvious that her pouring the tea on me wasn't an accident. Anyway, 10 days ago, not a mile from my shop, I spotted the wife, and it seemed like she was waiting for me. I immediately turned back and walked the other way, but she caught up with me. She looked so terrible, like she hadn't got any decent sleep for days and hadn't been eating much. I think I cried in panic and said I'm sorry all over again and that Chris and I ceased contact a long time ago. I was just blabbering continuously when she shook me really hard. I was stunned. She then asked me if I knew someone named Cheska and if Chris had talked about her to me. I was so anxious I couldn't think clearly, but the name did ring a bell in my head. Maybe she saw how distraught I was. She dragged me away from the street and sat me down on a bench. She pleaded, really pleaded to me to think really hard if I heard of this Cheska from Chris. So that's what I did, and it clicked. Back when Chris and I were still together, he mentioned a Cheska to me with whom he was working with. But he would only mention her in passing, like when he went to drinks with his office mates and this Cheska had to go home early to take care of her child, or when this Cheska spilled coffee on their desk. Nothing meaningful in my opinion, but I told this to the wife. She didn't speak after a few minutes and it was really awkward, so I got up and apologized again. She just nodded. It's like she was really out of it and wasn't aware that she was already crying. I felt like it wasn't my place to console her, so I just gave her a pack of tissues I had in my bag and she accepted it. I muttered some apologies again and she said, "Just go," in a really tired and defeated voice. I felt really sorry for her and I felt much more terrible. I never saw her again after that incident. I guess that she thought I was still Chris's mistress, that's why she attacked me, and upon realizing that I wasn't talking to him again, she decided to talk to me for clues, or maybe proof that Chris was cheating on her again. I don't really know anymore. Chris is such a piece of crap, yeah. And I will forever regret that I got involved with him. I have also hurt his wife in the process, and even though she did things to me, I still can't help but feel sorry for her. Sigh. I feel devastated for her, especially after seeing how broken she was that day. It's not hard to sympathize with her. If we only had divorce law in this country. We're from the Philippines. Sigh. We only have annulment here, which basically is only for the rich people considering how costly it is. And it also takes so long to process, much longer than divorce I believe. It's still a lesson nevertheless. Although this entire experience did really terrify me, I'm just glad I got out of it alive and that I've learned something to make myself better. Also, I didn't get to follow most of the advice here to quit my job since I don't think it's necessary anymore. Plus, there aren't any vacancies near me and I really need some money because I'm finally going back to college this summer term. So yeah. Thanks to everyone who has helped without judging me, you all made me realize that it wasn't too late to change for the better. And I promise to never sleep with married men or women again. Again, thank you so much. Aw man, OP, Chris is really a piece of crap. He was cheating with somebody else. I mean, again, that's my judgy side coming out, but it kind of seems like it was. I mean, considering how distraught the wife was. Hopefully she can do something about it and get away from Chris. I don't know, hopefully. In any case, it's good that you've learned your lesson, OP. No more married men or women again. And on that note, here's wishing you the best in college and take care. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user BadgerFeet11. My 24 female fiance, 24 male, just told me that he has been lying to me about small things for our whole relationship. I feel like I'm crazy. John and I have been together for 2 years. At the beginning of our relationship, I said I didn't have a problem with smut, but I wanted him to be open about it and not use it to an extent that would interfere with our relationship. He said that it wouldn't be a problem not to watch it, not what I requested. On several occasions in the next few months, he told me he hadn't been watching it. Okay, cool. 6 months later, he told me he had been watching it all the time and it had been affecting our sex life, like literally taking over an hour and having to finish every time. I was really upset, not because he was watching it, but because he lied to me when I hadn't even asked him not to watch it. This was a year ago, and the issue seems to be resolved now, but it definitely impacted my trust. We got engaged a month ago. Yesterday, he told me that he had been lying about a variety of small things throughout our relationship. For example, he went on a trip with his friends to Colorado and told me that they weren't really drinking. But yesterday, he told me that they were drinking a lot. I hadn't and wouldn't ask him not to drink, nor do I have a problem with it. He had no reason to lie about it. The other lies are of similar magnitude. He says that he lies because he is a people pleaser and doesn't want to worry me about small things. I don't have a problem with the things he was lying about, just that he was lying. I hate feeling like I don't know what's going on and always having to question if I'm being lied to. I don't know how to move forward. I feel like I'm going to be more insecure about lying, which will make him feel more pressured and cause him to lie more. Should I just let it go? I don't even know if I can do that, and I feel like that's an ignorant thing to do. He told me he's willing to talk with a therapist about people-pleasing and shame issues, but that he doesn't think he has a problem with lying. Well, OP, that's another lie, because he definitely has a problem with lying. Maybe he's lying about going to a therapist. Personally, just like you, OP, I don't like lying. I don't care if it's a huge lie or a teeny tiny lie. A lie is a lie. It's just avoidant of the truth, and it makes you lose trust in people. Sure, a joke here and there and, fooling around, fine. But the lies that he made were just plain stupid. They just erode your trust because he didn't even have to lie. You said you had no problem with the things that he was doing. Now you're engaged, OP, and you need to make a decision. Is this something that you could live with, just knowing that he might occasionally lie to you, even if it's just stupid little things? Eventually, he might feel the confidence to lie about something big. Now, you could give him one final benefit of the doubt, so he goes and treats this people-pleasing or shame issues. But what if he lies again after that? Are you gonna get a divorce? Because you might already be married by then. In my opinion, trust is incredibly important, and this kind of thing breaks it. I don't know if I would stay in this relationship. And what about you guys? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Deleted says, quote, I hate feeling like I don't know what's going on and always having to question if I'm being lied to. End quote. Not having trust in your partner is a deal breaker for many people. You need to figure out, and relatively quickly as you are engaged, if this is a deal breaker for you. He doesn't think he has a problem with lying, but admitted to lying about small things throughout the relationship, but is willing to talk to a therapist? Something doesn't add up there. If I were you, this would be a deal breaker to me. I would not want to constantly be on my guard and having to question everything my partner is doing and saying. I would not want that kind of insecurity hanging over me. I also would not just let it go, because if someone has a problem with lying about small things, who's to say they would not lie about big things? And OP responds, it is definitely a deal breaker for me. I want to think that he could deal with whatever issues are causing him to do this in therapy and work on rebuilding trust. I feel like forgiveness is something I need to work on because it's necessary in any relationship. It's just, I feel like I'm going to be crazy and our relationship is just going to implode, or we won't be able to resolve it and I've just wasted more time being miserable. Giltro says he has a problem with lying, whether he wants to admit it or not. Don't let him tell you that he doesn't want you to worry, as if he's doing you a favor by being dishonest. He doesn't want to tell the truth for whatever reason, and it has nothing to do with you. Therapy can't help. Definitely get this sorted out before you get married. 5263 says, my ex was like this exactly. The lying will escalate. You will feel like you're going crazy. If he's not already, he will gaslight the heck out of you. This is not healthy behavior and you do not need this in your life. Well, the community was pretty clear. Lying isn't acceptable in a healthy relationship, and apparently this is a deal breaker for OP. So now let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. My original post got a decent amount of attention, so I figured a follow-up was necessary. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the support. It was the first time I'd posted something on Reddit without a single hateful or critical comment. I guess everyone hates liars. So yeah, I broke up with him. I just want to say that I feel like I was part of the problem. I have a dominant personality and I'm really direct about my wants and needs, whereas my ex is more passive and tends to go with the flow. I see how my personality drowned him and put him in a position where he felt he had to lie to me. I still wholeheartedly believe that lying is never necessary and is always disrespectful and immature. I just don't think I'm completely blameless. Anyways, thanks again. You're all great. I just bought a flight to Japan and I didn't have to ask anyone for permission. OP's edit. I think people misinterpreted what I said. I was just saying that I didn't break up with him for lying. I broke up with him because we were incompatible. I think lying is stupid and immature, but I can see how the environment of our relationship tempted him. Alright, well, OP broke up with the guy regardless of the lying, it was just the incompatibility in her opinion. And now she's on her way to Japan. So here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Hope you enjoy your trip. Take care and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.